Today we're reacting to 8 aesthetic gaming setups that will inspire you to improve yours. So sit back, relax, and let's get into the first one. The first one is Emil, 18-year-old from Stockholm, Sweden. He's a video editor and as well as a student. So he's a student and a video editor. He mainly uses his setup for editing, gaming, and studying. I started building his setup around a week ago. It took him about a day to get everything together. That's cool. He was inspired to build everything watching Joshy's setup videos. Sheesh. His mom and him helped him put together most of it. Okay. I built a setup using money and editing from YouTube. I really like the monitors, the behind the monitors, the lighting. The main thing that hurts the setup for me is the cables right here. Now like literally imagine if he just moved these cables to the right on the bar and then just used the Velcro like right there. Literally would have just made this 10 times better. It's not awful. I just wish that this cable management was a little better. I also love the pegboard on the left. I think the aesthetic is great there. The mice between both plants and then the money in there is kind of cool. Also love the keyboard and mouse combo. I think the mouse pad is actually really unique. I've never seen anything like this, and I like this style. I think this is cool. I would probably say a solid 7. I think he did a great job with the lighting, the panels, the monitor aesthetic, with everything. I think it's great. Stop. Today's sponsor is GutzyAiden.com, my very own mousepad company. We're doing a spring sale, which means that 36 by 18s and 48 by 24s are $5 off. Some setups in this episode use my mousepad, so if you like what you see, well, you can go check it out. Back to the video. This next one is Aiden. He's a 12-year-old from Germany. He's a student and mostly uses a setup for gaming. His main game is Fortnite, Battlefield, and Valorant. And his old setup had a $500 budget PC and a horrible desk with a monitor. He started building his current setup in January of 2023, and it took him around 2 to 3 months to put everything together. I was inspired to build this setup by TechSource, Gutsy, and Oxydoxy. I would like to add a cloud ceiling and purchase a 4080. 12 wanting to purchase a 4080 is crazy. Looking at this, like, honestly, I love how simple and clean it is. I think my personal favorite colorway of this setup is when you did this purple and pink bluish. This is my favorite theme you did. This TV, I would have said to go a little higher, but I know it's probably your bed's on the opposite side of the setup, so you can't really do much. But I love the shelf, the personality there, the monitors, like, it's so simplistic too. For 12 years old, this is unbelievable, man. Cable management also looks really, really tidy as well underneath the desk. It looks like he has an ROG desk, which is cool. Also love the raceway on the wall. I love how you cable managed everything as well. And in my opinion, I would rate this probably a 9 out of 10. I think this is one of the most like insane setups we've had as a 12-year-old on the show. The next setup is Joseph. He's a 17-year-old from Virginia. He works in fast food and lawn care, and he uses a setup for gaming and editing. His main game is Rainbow Six Siege. I started building this setup in August 2021. It took him about 2 years to put it all together. He's inspired by Gutsy and Maddie K to build this setup. He built this setup all by himself as well. I purchased the setup using money from his jobs. He plans on adding an arcade machine and creating a retro theme to it. Oh, I'd love to see that. That's awesome. Just looking at this is beautiful, man. Very run-of-the-mill. It reminds me exactly of Maddie K setup, like to a T. Like from the monitors to the bar in the background to the lighting to everything, like the PC as well being white. I think you did a great job. I also like the mic placement too, and the aesthetic of this is beautiful. Like looking through the photos, I loved how you did the shelf here and you put a lot of personality on that. Keyboard and mouse combo looks great. Like the coiled cable on his desk as well. On the side table here, I feel like you should maybe put this lamp on your desk instead, because there's like 5 things on there and it just seems like there's not enough room for it, so you kind of just all put it on one table. Cable management though does need a lot of work, and I think you know that. Overall, such a beautiful setup, man. I would probably say this is a 9.5 in my opinion. I love everything about the cable management, but the aesthetic of the setup. The next one is Sam. He's a 20-year-old from Oman. He's a college student as well as a YouTuber slash gamer. All right. His main game is Rumbleverse. His old setup was just a laptop setup. I started building his setup in February 2021. It took him about 2 years, but he finally built it all. I purchased his setup by saving up his money. So let's look at this setup. I mean, it's very run-of-the-mill PC2 monitor setup here, but I think what we're focusing on here is the aesthetic of the setup, like just the different greens he can provide. Like, even though it's not the most insane setup, right? I love that he's got, like, you know, very minimalist vibes here. Like when it comes to the plants on the wall, the lighting, like I like how he kind of like changed the backgrounds. I love these like art backgrounds, like with the blue one too, how he made the lamp kind of blue as well. Looks really, really nice. And then also I like how he has a clothing rack on the right side for his clothes, and he also wrapped like vines around the bottom, which is kind of cool. I think it's probably a solid 7, like right down the middle, really clean. Moving on to Caleb. He's a 16-year-old from Indiana. He's a high school student, and he uses a setup for gaming. His main games are Fortnite and Warzone. He started building his setup in February of 2023. It took him around a week to fully build it all. He was inspired by many different tech creators to build it. And he built it using his money from working from his grandparents and saving. So let's look at this whole setup and kind of unpack the aesthetic here. 2 monitor setup, green vibes, white lights. Also, I love the plants as well. I think the plant with the headphone hanger there being kind of unique. I've never seen anybody use a plant as a headphone hanger. I also like the little bamboo plant, I think that is, on the right side. I think it's great. I like that he used like a green and white keyboard, but I really want to see a different mouse pad out of you too. Not just mine. I'm just thinking like this black and white mouse pad does not match the theme at all, especially since you've got like, you know, a green and white keyboard, and then you got green backgrounds. Like, I think you should go with like a white mouse pad or a green one, something like that. The next one is Hang. He's a 16-year-old from Vietnam. He mostly uses his setup for gaming and schoolwork. His main games are Minecraft, okay, and his old setup was a laptop and an old mouse, so he's kind of upgraded since then. He started building his current setup about 2 weeks ago, and he's still upgrading it, okay. And it's taken him about a total of 2 years to build everything here. It was inspired to build it by GutzyAiden and Slush. All right, so looking at this setup, there's not really a whole lot to unpack. I do like that you made a custom light in the shelf. I think that's super unique. Like, looking at that, that's so cool. I wish that there's more shelf like that. I would hide the cable throughout the wall, or like maybe throughout the shelf or the side of it, just to not show it on the setup. I'm assuming you're still working on it, but I like that you mounted your monitor as well. And once you get a PC, this will be easy to upgrade. This desk though, I feel like doesn't fit what you're trying to do. I think your best bet would be just to get a countertop. I think I want to talk about the shelves for a second, because the shelves are like my favorite part of this setup. I love how the shelves are built like into the wall, and I like how they're lit up too. I wish the top one had a light as well to show the things on the shelf. Yeah, maybe a raceway on the shelf to hide this cable. That'd be clean as well. Overall, I'd probably rate this a solid 5 out of 10. The cable management is all the way there, you know, but I like the personality. I think you did a great job trying there. Yeah, I mean, I could go with a 6. No, I'll go with a 6. I'll go with a 6 because chat's mad. All right, I'll go with a 6. The next one is Christian. He is 15 years old from Washington. He mostly uses his setup for gaming, and his old setup was a PS4 and a 65-inch TV. He started building his current setup in July of 2022, and it's taken him up until now to build it to where it's at today. He also was inspired to build it by TechSource, me, and other videos, and he built it all using his own money from working and flipping tech. Let's kind of dive deep in this setup. Like, looking at it right here, the only thing that is wrong with this setup is the desk. It's too small. On top of that, I do like how you did mount your mic kind of below this. I do think that your monitors do need to mount to the wall though. I also think getting rid of the trash behind your monitor could help as well, but I love the aesthetic and where you're going with the setup. I think it's a very, very good start. I think the keyboard, mouse, it looks great so far, but overall it looks really good, and I think the aesthetic is coming along. So I would probably rate this a solid 7 out of 10. I think a solid 7 is like right down the middle. It's great. He did a really good job with the aesthetic, and he's been building a really nice vibe to the setup. I think that there's just not enough like usefulness of the setup. Like, you can't really use a lot of it. Moving on, Tripper's setup. He's a 14-year-old student. He primarily uses his setup for gaming and school, and his main game is Modern Warfare 2. His old setup was trash, and it had no color coordination, and he started building his setup in 2021. He's been slowly upgrading it up until today. He's inspired to build it by TechSource, so that's cool. He purchases it using his birthday money and Christmas money. So let's look at this setup as a whole. I think this setup is really clean. Like, it's a very dark aesthetic with white, like lighter wood on the bottom. Cable management looks really good. I love the ultra wide in the middle. I also love the keyboard and mouse. Very just run of the mill, very clean, but one of those like dark and minimal. I love the PC too, how it's got like white accents but all black and gray in there. Really, really clean. Love the keyboard, how it kind of pops. The keyboard with the coiled cable looks really nice. Also, cable management could be a little better, but it's not the worst thing in the world. I would have liked to see on this setup as well. I did look at the setup, but I don't like this shelf. I think that the shelf is so out of place. It's so random. I think you should get a longer shelf, like a massive one that just goes over the entire setup at this point, and maybe make it aligned with your desk. But this tiny shelf just in the middle of the wall, loving this vibe. I think personally this is like a solid 8 out of 10. I love it. I think it's a great vibe. Get a monitor clamp would be really good for the setup. I think you almost should mount this monitor to the wall. Yeah, also you could get like a solid Alex drawer on the right or something, or like a table on the right to put his PC on, and he'd have more room. But I think that shelf's gotta go, bro. That shelf is gotta go. This shelf up here, it's gotta go, bro. It's gotta go. I think yeah, overall I'd say it's probably an 8.5 out of 10. If you made it to the end of this video, make sure to watch this video next and subscribe, because we're almost to 40,000 subscribers. Thank you. Goodbye.